All right, good evening, everyone. We're here for a public hearing. I'll just read this on for the record. The Board of Commissioners of the City of Mount Juliet will have a public hearing on City Hall on April 24th at 6:15 to consider the following items on second and final reading. We have three items here. One is to approve a major amendment to the preliminary master development plan for our Tomlinson Point planned unit development being located at 2844 Curd Road. The second one is to rezone 19.94 acres of Rutland Drive, map 78, parcel 13.14 from CI PUD from CI to CI PUD and adopt preliminary master development plan to approve the economic development agreement for Project Prosper. And the third one is to reconsider ordinance 200650, which establishes the zone and the preliminary PUD overlay for Kent Russ Carpenter properties, also known as Kelsey Glen, to remove the requirements for the perimeter transitional protective buffer. If anybody has any comments on these three items, I'd invite you to come forward and make your comments. If you have comments on other things, we will have a public hearing at the regular scheduled meeting at 6:30. If you would come forward, give your name and address for the record. You'll be recognized for 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Corey Caluet. I live at 4032 Ethan Avenue in the Kelsey Glen subdivision, and I serve as the vice president of our Homeowners Association Board of Directors. I just wanted to come out and express our gratitude to the whole commission for considering this ordinance that would eliminate the buffer requirement around the neighborhood. I'm sorry, I don't have any prepared remarks. I'm just speaking off the cuff here. That has been a considerable source of frustration in a couple of particular sections of our neighborhood as it was built out. And this seems to be the best solution that we all can find and agree to. So I appreciate you guys considering it. And the Homeowners Association is in support of it. The board of directors is in support of it. And unless you guys are aware of any significant opposition from the affected homeowners, then we appreciate you guys pass that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Not aware of any negative feedback on the item. Anyone else for the public hearing? All right. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. We'll reconvene for our regular meeting at 6:30. Good evening and welcome to the Mount Juliet Board of Commissioners. Today is April 24th. I'll call this meeting to order. We have a quorum pursuant to city code. We have 4 of the 5 elected officials present. At this point, I'll move to set agenda. I'm going to request that we remove Costco, which is 8.3 from the consent agenda, and add 9.1 to consent, which is Tomlinson Point. Is there any objections to that?
None.
All right, hearing no objections to that, Costco is removed from consent. 9.1 will be read as part of consent. Also suggest we move under new businesses 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.7, and 10.8 to consent. Any objections? All right, hearing none, we'll set the agenda as published with the
Appointment of the city judge to the end of the meeting.
I'm fine as it is.
Okay, all right.
All right. All right, with that, the agenda will be set as published with the changes. Costco will be moved from consent, 9.1 will be added to consent, and under new business, we'll read 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 7, and 8, all under consent. All right, hearing no objections, we'll post that as they're set for our agenda. We have a 189-page packet to get through, 4 items under unfinished business, 8 items under new business. If you are here, we have packets in the wire baskets on the sides to follow along with. And if you're online, you can follow along on the city's website with the agenda. With that, our next item is our invocation and pledge of allegiance. I would ask Chief Hambrick, sir, if you would come and lead us in the invocation and pledge, please.
Thank you, man. Let us pray together. Father God, we come to you, Lord, to give you thanks and glory. Lord, we pray that our focus, Lord, would be on our need. And we know that our greatest need is you. We pray for not only this city, but Lord, our state and our nation. Heavenly Father, your word declares that righteousness is what exalts a nation. And so, Lord, we look to you tonight, Lord, for guidance. We pray for wisdom. Lord, we pray that everything, as your word declares, that we do in word or in deed, that we do it to your glory. And so, Lord, we ask that you redeem our time here tonight together and that you would just bless our time. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Let us stand for the pledge of our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Next item is approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. One is from our regular meeting on March 27th. The second is from our special meeting on April 16th. I'm going to call for a vote on those 2 separately. All in favor, or is there any comments, changes? Or seeing none. All in favor of the regular meeting minutes on March 27th, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Minutes carry. The next set is April 16th. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Minutes carry, both sets. Next item on the agenda is citizen comments. This, unlike like the Planning Commission, this is pretty much the only opportunity you have to address the commission. We just ask that you keep the comments on topic to items pertaining to the city. Keep it limited to 3 minutes. I will notify you if you get close or go over to that. Not trying to be the bad guy, but this is our city code that limits things to 3 minutes here. I feel the need to point this out right off the bat. You cannot be annexed unless the property owner requests to be annexed. So with that, I'll open up citizen comments. Anybody wishing to address the Board of Commissioners, the podium is open. Name and address for the record, please.
Rhett Chandler, 211 West Chandler Court, Mount Juliet. Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to let you know that I'm, again, Rhett Chandler. I put my name in for the city judge position. Would like your consideration for that opening from Judge Christofferson. A little bit about myself. I've lived in Mount Juliet for almost 20 years in District 2. I have two kids that one's a junior and one's a freshman at Green Hill High School. I have a daughter that's in college. Been married for 25 years to my lovely wife. And I've wanted to get involved in the city of Mount Juliet. And I've talked with Commissioner Trivett and the mayor over the years about different areas and ways to get involved with the city. And when I heard this, came open, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me. I currently am practicing with the firm Parkerson, Centel, and Garner out of Murfreesboro. I just started working with them in August. Before that, I was in-house counsel with Liberty Mutual Insurance for about 6 years, which that's a lot of what I do now is insurance defense work. The good thing about it is I work from home, so I don't have to commute to Murfreesboro. I would be able to meet the duties of, if elected and appointed, I would be able to take the duties of the judge and do what's needed. So the work wouldn't conflict or anything like that. So just wanted to introduce myself and ask for your consideration for the position.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Andy Wright, 713 Pebble Point Road in Lebanon. I also have submitted my name for consideration for the city judge position. I emailed all of you on Saturday, so I'll just reiterate a little bit about what I put in there. In about 8 days, I will have 19 years in as a Lebanon city attorney. But from 2009 to 2016, I served as the Mount Juliet city judge, resigning and then swearing in Judge Christofferson for the position. I enjoyed my time on the bench. I built great relationships with city management, with the police department. I'm a former police officer in Metro, spent 11 years there, so my heart is with the police department. So I'm now in a position again where I have submitted my name, and I appreciate this opportunity. I would appreciate any consideration for the position. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for citizen comments?
This is a different perspective up here. Shane Chaminor, 3095 Oxford Drive, Mount Juliet. I've been with the city for a little and a resident of Mount Juliet for a little less than 3 years. A job opportunity with the city brought me here and interviewed for a job that wasn't even advertised. So that tells you sometimes things go your way. So when Director Barlow announced to us that he was leaving the city last week, the biggest thing that was sold to me was family, and this city is family. And when he told us he was leaving, it hurt like you've seen your buddy move away. We can't do the work in this city without you guys, of course, but we also have bosses. You know, it's a company that we got to get things done for the citizens of Mount Juliet. And along with Matt White, and Andy was the best boss I've ever had up to this point in life. And professional, he let you do your work. He stayed out of the way and expected you to get the job done. And that's the kind of guy that you want to work for because you want to run through the wall for him. So with that being said, I want to state that, Andy, good luck. We still got another month, so don't worry about that yet. But the work he's done for this city should not be overlooked because the city of Mount Juliet, the history of it, can't be written without Andy Barlow. And with that, I conclude my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for citizen comments? All right, seeing none, we will close citizen comments and I will move to commissioner comments and reports. I'll recognize Commissioner Hefner for 5 minutes.
Thanks, Mayor. I also want to congratulate Mr. Barlow on next chapter in his life. Was disturbing when I read the email. Worked very, very closely with Mr. Barlow the last 3 years. We didn't always agree on a lot of things, in fact, but he was extremely a major asset to the city. And it's going to be sad to see him go, for sure. He's got big shoes to fill, no doubt about that. So I wish you all the best in your next role. Also want to mention Kelsey Glen HOA meeting tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Starts at 6:30. And then last but not least, I want to give an update on my lunch meeting with the CEO of Wilson Bank and Trust. I think I mentioned this at the last board meeting. First, I want to thank Dana Heyer. Thank you for all your efforts and working with me. I know I was probably a pain at times. But when I get my teeth sunk into something, I usually don't let go. So appreciate Kenny Martin, city manager, for setting up that lunch meeting. I know it took a few weeks to sync up our calendars, but I do appreciate you setting that up. So just in a nutshell, the result of that meeting, which pretty much happened within 48 hours, we were able to increase our interest income to this city by $1.5 million a year. So that's pretty significant. Virtually doing nothing other than meeting with the CEO and meeting with the representative, moving some funds around into some higher interest bearing accounts, which netted the city again $1.5 million. That's net new revenue to the city that we're going to realize. So again, I want to thank Dana, Ms. Heyer, and Kenny Martin for setting that up. I'm just getting started. So that was my first round. So anticipate some more discussions and meetings in the very near future. So anyways, with that, I conclude my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Mullally.
All right. Working on my next newsletter this week and hope to send that out next Monday. I too was very disappointed to hear Andy had turned in his resignation. And I just have the utmost respect for him and his department and what they've done. You have been just proactive on so many projects that you helped get going, and that's good to see. So I wish you the best and all you do, and I understand you have to do what's best for you and your family. So they're hard shoes to fill. So we will miss you. There's a Providence Spring Carnival I don't know how the weather's going to do. That's questionable. But this Saturday at the Providence Marketplace in front of the theater from 9 to 12, there's a Providence Spring Carnival. It's called Cinema Circle there in front of Regal. So just hopefully if the weather's better than it's anticipated, just bring the family for a day of fun. There will be train rides, games, putt-putt golf, and more. National Small Business Week is April 30th through May 6th, so keep those tax dollars here at home. Remember our especially our small mom and pops. On May 6th, a week from Saturday, is our spring community yard sale at Charlie Daniels Park, and from 8 to 1. And so come out for that. That's going to be a good, let's see. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next is Commissioner Justice.
Thank you, Mayor. I may need some help from Chief here in just a second on something I wanted to mention. First of all, I want to talk about an incident that took place just recently where one of our police officers, who is actually very new out of the academy, Jacob Smart is that young man's name, and the incident that took place with Jacob and the young lady who is a mental health worker that we've got here, I believe on a grant, if I'm not mistaken, Chief. Her name is Danny. What's her last name? You call her Danny. Okay. Myself and the city manager, we're old retired police officers, and so we kind of go back old school. And some of the things that we used to have to do when somebody was in a mental state, our methods probably weren't what they are today, thankfully. But Jacob Smart, who was also a young man who was from right here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. His family's been here forever. He's the grandson, I think, of Phil Smart, actually somebody that was recognized here recently. Jacob and this mental health worker called me because there was a friend that was having a mental issue, an elderly friend. And so after over an hour on the telephone, listening mainly to Jacob Smart and this mental health worker, Danny, have conversations with this lady, she's not young. They were successful in getting her onto an ambulance into a hospital where she received help. Like I said, I'm old school. The methods that they employ today to get things done are not methods that we employed during the course of my career, to the most part. We tried to use compassion, but we didn't have the things available to us. Andy Wright sitting back there, you remember those days as well. We just kind of went in and got it done and left. But because of the compassion that I heard over the telephone, and I personally and directly witnessed of Officer Jacob Smart, who has not even finished his field training officer program yet, and this Danny, they were successful. And because they were successful, my friend has had a successful visit to the hospital, and I can say is safe and getting healthy. So I wanted to say this in front of the Chief Hambrick. You've obviously done a good job of hiring, and obviously done a good job of training and employing techniques that work. And I'm firsthand witness to it. So thank you for the good job you've done recently and over the many years that you've been here. So that being the case, from this point on, I will ask you to listen to Commissioner Juliet and then Mayor Manis's statements, and then cut this portion of the TV off and watch American Idol, because Oliver Steele is on there tonight, and we'll find out whether or not he gets moved on into it. And you do not need to be watching this, because this is junk. This is government. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we'll recognize Vice Mayor Trevette.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you for all the families coming out tonight, and obviously the folks that are online that are getting ready to switch the channels. So looking forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks, and you'll be able to catch up. No, but in all joking aside, I just want to remind some folks, obviously, our first responders, this entire board up here supports every single, department. And what's interesting is we kind of take it for granted, as we all tend to just know that if we call, for them, they come running, they come towards us as we're dealing with the emergency, and a lot of us are leaving. So, just want to tell, all the first responders, thank you. Also, I would like to remind the family members, these past couple of weeks, it's been so nice to see the weather really nice out. And as we're walking through the neighborhoods, as we're driving up and down the streets, I just want to remind everybody the C-Click fix. That is something so important, because we've got a platform out there, so when you see something, please help us out. You're the eyes and ears. And I know with Mr. Barlow leaving, which I want to flood his platform to be able to keep his staff. But in all, obviously I'm going to kind of skip a couple lines here to go down to Mr. Barlow. I wish you well, sir. It was kind of like a gut kick in the stomach. I did want to go kick in your shin with love, of course. And I do wish you well in your next endeavor. But you know what? A good leader has a great team behind him. And I will tell you this, your staff are rock stars. So I know you have left a legacy with a great team. Matt and Shane and the rest of his staff, they're ready. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can get out of this, with obviously if your team decides to promote within or decides to do something differently, either way, I know that we're going to be set, and we're not going to skip a beat. So that's a great thing there. So thank you for all of your hard work and dedication that you've given to your staff as well as the city. And obviously I know you're not moving out of the city anytime soon. So we all may just stop by for a grill out this summer or something. So let's see here. The other ones, which is just the families that did reach out to me over the past couple weeks, whether if it was for some, some new expenses, or some new charges, or just tell me a little bit about what's going on with your community. Please keep those phone calls, emails coming. I appreciate them. I love to be able to, point you in the right direction if it's a department, or else if it's just something that you just want to just talk about on some concerns with the city. My ears are always open as well as my phone. I was excited when Mr. Rocky Lee was obviously kicking off, which I'm going to do a little bit of promoting a little bit in advance, the movie nights this summer. I know that's right around the corner, so please get that promoting out to your neighbors as our commissioners are obviously meeting up with HOAs. I think it's a great reminder for all of us to be talking about our parks, and just appreciate everything what our departments are doing. So, Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Excuse me. I was going to ask, do we have anybody? We have a just professional American Idol watcher that's monitoring for us. Because I know we're kind of here, but we are, in all seriousness, we have been promoting Mr. Oliver Steele as he makes his journey. He's our local resident here that's made it top 20. I believe that's correct. Top 20 here.
Top 26 now. It's
Down top 20. So it's going to top 10, top 12, something like that tonight. 12. So we're going to weed it down and hope and help him through the journey as he presses forward on that. I did see, and you mentioned C-Click Fix. I did see a news article out there where in one town there was been a pothole that had been neglected so long that a citizen actually planted a tree in the pothole out there. I saw that. I thought about making a post on this. I was like, if you live in Mount Juliet, no need to plant a tree, just not in the road, but use our C-Click Fix app out here and we'll get somebody on it. And that's the thing. Speaking of Mr. Barlow and his department, they've been very proactive about taking care of our city streets. Sometimes take care of streets that aren't even the city streets, but that's just directing people to the right place, whether it be the state or other things out there when they get stuff reported on it. But that's something we don't see a lot of in Mount Juliet is potholes over compared to some of the stuff that we've seen in other places. The biggest question I would always get was Clemens Road. When are y'all going to fix or repair Clemens Road? And I was like, well, if we go do a lot of work on Clemens Road, then it gets all tore up during the development out here. You're going to accuse me of wasting money. So that has been development portion of that and the utility work that's been out there done. You can see that's a nice shiny road out there. So they've been very proactive on taking care of those things. Mr. Barlow called me less than a week ago, and he's like, Mayor, I got some bad news, really bad news, or really, really awful news. What do you want? And I thought I don't know, like a culvert washed out when there wasn't no rain or something. I didn't know what to expect. And I was preparing for the worst and thought I was ready I was like, all right, I'm sitting down. Give it to me. And he's like, I'm leaving. Now says I'm putting my notice and I accepted another offer. And I got to say that was actually more devastating than probably anything you could have told me over the phone because of the value you bring to the city and the faith that we have in you and with the department under your leadership and what you've been able to accomplish. I know it's not just for you reporting to work and just checking off a list every day. It's home. Your heart's been in it. I've never had any question of whether you were advocating for the city, best interest of the citizens out here, pressing on all points, whether it's with the GNRC, TDOT, or whatever you need. You've always been a faithful advocate for the city. And, we can hire another person for the position, but you can hire people, but you can't hire heart. And that's something that we've, it's going to be missed. So the next person's got some big public works boots to fill as we move forward. So just presented a proclamation. As you know, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and we presented a proclamation to the 15th Judicial District for their work in combating child abuse, and just wanted to bring awareness to that this month and the good work that they do. And I know Commissioner Justice also mentioned the mental health. We now have somebody on board with the police department there to work specifically with that. And that's just an example of our police department being innovative, going out there and staying on the cutting edge to keep us as citizens safe. They're always willing to try new things, step out there and work and do whatever it takes to keep this community safe. And appreciate them, appreciate the Board of Commissioners for your willingness to always support them and make sure they have the tools that they need. And with that, I'm going to quit rambling and recognize our city manager for his report.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Go ahead.
I realized when I turned my page here that I had written down Andy B on here. Andy Barlow, and I don't know if he's in here or not. There you are. He hides so well. I wanted to say thank you for your time here. I didn't get an opportunity to say that a while ago because I forgot to turn the page, but I'm going to say it now. It's kind of fitting talking about turning the page, and you're turning one going up to the Tennessee Department of Transportation, I believe is what we're talking about. When you get up there and you build that great big roundabout up there, just think about the statue that you wanted to put of me in the middle of Mount Nonoval Road in that roundabout, okay? So there'd be pigeons landing on it, and it'll be bigger. So we appreciate everything you've done. And it's good to know that I've got somebody now that is an ex-employee going to bigger things, and got a friend at downtown Nashville. So good luck to you, and we love you. Thank you, Mayor.
City manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners. Thanks for everybody that's out tonight. Thanks for those watching home that haven't switched the channel. Thank you, Commissioner. It's a good call. I can't blame him a bit. We're wishing all the luck in the world to Oliver. He's a great man, great family, and it's always cool to see one of your own and be watching national television and see Mount Juliet, Tennessee on there. So it's pretty cool. Commissioner, you're exactly right. It takes a village, I guess you'd say, to build any kind of community, or a village, or whatever that saying is. It takes everybody. And day to day, even in our team is the commissioners. Our team is the citizens, and lots of people have lots of good ideas and thoughts, and it takes all of us. So thank you. Sometimes we're not going to agree on everything, but that's what makes a city great. And we have an absolute awesome city. So thank each of you for what you do. You've got your own sacrifices away from the city, your own professions away from the city, just like the citizens do. And that input means the world does. So thank you. It's how we become better. It's putting all the minds and hearts together. It's what builds the compassion, which is awesome. Andy, I would be remiss if I didn't thank you. I think it's 9 years ago now. Andy was hired sight unseen, his interview, unfortunately, because he had broken away from work at, I think, TDOT then to go on a vacation. So he couldn't make it here when I scheduled the interview. So he had to interview by phone. And, they say you learn a lot about a person. That, if you're going to hire somebody, you want to hire a good human being. And if they got the skill set, all those things work out. But Andy, all I could hear in the background was his two little precious little girls, and they were a lot younger then, making a lot of noise. And his patience told me a lot about him then, that he's very patient. And you've done a phenomenal job. Thank you for not even believing in us, because we believed in you. And as Shane had said, your fingerprints all over the city, as anybody is. The folks sitting in this room, people, there are staff, make a difference in this community every day. So thank you, because I understand the sacrifices, and it does. We were talking last week, and I said, well, I hate to lose you selfishly. I said, but if this is something in your heart that you want to do that's betterment for your family, then we fully support you on that. And so thank you for everything you've done. Words, 9 years of your life is a lot. And so he knows how I feel about him and his family. And I said, as long as you're not leaving Mount Juliet per se, we want you to go work where you want to work. But we understand too, though, he's laid a good foundation for the people behind him. So we'll be in good hands. But we can't do without what we do without one another. So thank you on that. I want to brag on our emergency services, police, fire, and EMS. They get bragged on a lot. I get it, because there's always out there front and center. But I want to brag on the commission. I was a witness, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, to a fatal accident, and I worked a lot of those for a lot of years. But when you're out of law enforcement and you see something like that happen, it sort of takes you back, and you're ill prepared for it. So I was the first one to respond, and you're a little bit of a fog to see somebody there that's losing their life in front of you. But what was amazing is watching, and thank goodness to this community and the citizens in this elected body for putting public service and public safety first and foremost. What you've done for this police department, the fire department, and now bringing EMS on board, I saw it front and center that day, what it looked like. It was pretty awesome. Y'all need to be very, very proud of that. And what this city did during the tornado and responding so quickly to that, and then buying those trucks, you'll be very, very proud of that. So it always goes, it's always public safety, but everything sort of goes down to all the other departments as well. That doesn't happen without you guys believing in your team and giving us equipment. And that may sound hokey, and as my best buddy over here likes to say, my brother Ray, kumbaya, but it's true. We live in a very special place. Everybody considers their city special. This is a special place. A lot of crazy things going on in our world, but we're putting that first. So Andy, thank you so much. God bless you and your family. You're going to do just fine. You're going to do just fine. I want to brag on somebody in particular. Is the commissioners you see up here in front of you don't make a whole lot of money, but they sacrifice a lot of time on behalf of the citizens of Mount Juliet. We all get it. I missed a lot of ball games and things with my son when he's growing up, and now I've got grandbabies, and I'm missing some of that. But what y'all do behind the scenes means a lot, and you're sacrificing from your families, your spouses, your children, your grandchildren, you name it. Thank you. But a shining spot of that is when you make such sacrifices in your life on behalf of the citizens of Mount Juliet and our staff, and somehow or another your daughter still manages somehow or another to be valedictorian of a school. That speaks volumes to parenting and leadership. And so, Mayor, I want to give a big shout out to both your daughters, but in particular, timing wise, to the mayor's daughter who was just selected valedictorian of Green Hill High School, a school with over 1,000 students. I couldn't have made valedictorian with one student. Okay, so that's a huge accomplishment. And I know he brags and loves on it, but that is phenomenal. And when I saw that picture, and I thought about that. And y'all make a lot of sacrifices for us. So I think it's sometimes we realize the sacrifices you make for your kiddos, but that's pretty awesome stuff. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out and to all your kids for turning out the way that they have. Ray, I've watched yours grow up since they were born. It's pretty good stuff. So I like to put some things into perspective. Sometimes as hokey as it may sound, we need a whole lot more hokey. Y'all are awesome. And congratulations to your daughter, Mayor. That's a huge, huge accomplishment. And it's incredible. So that concludes my report. And now I did mean to save a minute for Andy, because you may not get to make the next meeting. Just a minute for Andy and the mayor to say a little bit about his daughter, and Andy say a little bit about him.
Okay. Appreciate it. Well, it's kind of tough. I got to tell my guys, and I call them my guys, everybody in Public Works that's out there. We've got a lot of fantastic people. For y'all out there in the city that may not know everything of what we do, you've got so many great civil servants that are here every day. I mean, you see me and Matt and Shane up here a lot, and Shorty's over there too. And you see us here a lot, but you don't see the guys that are out there cleaning out your sewer grinder pots, that are out there patching the roadways and sweeping the roads and the grapple trucks and all the other stuff that we do. These people love this city, and I've said it 1,000 times, if not more. I couldn't do anything of what I've been able to accomplish here without them. They're the true heroes. I'm only one man. I'm nobody special. It's the people here that work for this city. And it's not just our department. I see it across all of our departments. We should all be really, really proud of what we have. And it was really the toughest decision I've ever had to make as far as making this move. I came here and really wanted to see the city be better and doing everything that we're doing. And it's going to take still a long, long time to get it to where it needs to go, but we're moving in that direction, and I couldn't be more proud of that. And it was tough for me telling everybody. I feel like I told them. I cried a lot of tears talking with them about it. I feel like a big brother leaving his family, but it's I know, and I'll say this is my prayer, that me leaving is going to be mean blessings for them. In what they're doing for this city, and I couldn't be more proud. And thanks to Kenny. Thanks for giving me a chance, Kenny. Appreciate it.
Turn over to you, and that'll conclude my report, everybody.
Thank you. Kenny, thank you for the kind comments. I know my daughter, she's worked very hard to accomplish what she's accomplished. And we left out Friday around 3 or so and headed out to Johnson City to look at East Tennessee State University. Well, not look at it. She's going to school there. Freshman orientation. And I got to admit, I've never felt so old in my life as to walk into a college with a daughter that's going to be starting this fall. And not something I can talk about too much right now, or I'll be in an emotional mess too here. So thank you for the recognition. And of course, Director Barlow, your comments, we've talked, I don't know how many times, about the way you manage your department, the way you manage your people. And it's always been great conversation. And it's not just something, he's not just saying kind things up here on the way out. He's lived it day in and day out here with the city. And what he says about our public servants can't be stated enough. We've got great people that put it out there every day for the citizens of Mount Juliet. So with that, I'm going to deviate from the agenda here and make a motion that Director Barlow's resignation not be accepted. Got a second? All in favor of rejection of Director Barlow's resignation, please signify by saying aye. 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 That's a unanimous vote that the resignation is not accepted. You're stuck. That's worth the paper it's written on. So. Yeah, I don't want to start anything. We'll move into our business portion of our objective here. We've got 3 items on consent here. I'll read these on for the record. We have 8.1, an ordinance amending Part B of the Unified Land Development Code of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, known as the zoning ordinance, by amending Section 8 floodplain district regulations to minimize danger to life and property due to flooding and to maintain eligibility for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. And 8.2, an ordinance to reconsider Ordinance 2006-50, which establishes the zoning and PUD overlay for the Kent, Rust, and Carpenter properties, also known as Kelsey Glen, to remove the requirements for the perimeter transitional protective barrier. And our third item is 9.1, an ordinance for a major amendment to the preliminary master development plan for Tomlinson Point Plan Unit Development, being located at 2844 Curd Road, map 54, parcel 73, 81, and 82.02 in the city of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Wilson County. Have a motion? Second. On new business. Yes, we're on unfinished business. We've got we have a motion and a second. The 3 items are on the table. Any discussion on those 3 items? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Those 3 carry. Our next item on the agenda is 8.3. We move this set agenda off the consent, which is an ordinance to rezone approximately 19.94 acres of property at Rutland Drive, map 78, parcel 13.14 from CI to CI PUD, and to adopt the preliminary master development plan and approval the economic development agreement for Project Prosper. Have a motion and a second. The items on the table. Point out the applicant has requested deferral for 1 meeting. Have a motion to defer for 1 meeting and a second on that. Any questions or comment on the advisement of deferral? All in favor of deferral for 1 meeting, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? 8.3 is deferred until our May 8th meeting. Moving to new business, we have 1 ordinance that's on the table, which is an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget ordinance 2022-32 to appropriate funds for the city departments related to stormwater utility fund. Motion. Have a motion? Second. Any questions, comments on this one? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? 10.1 carries on first reading. Next item up is our consent agenda for our new business, which is, I'll read these 5 onto the agenda, which is a resolution approving an agreement between the city of Mount Juliet, Tennessee and Cordell Group for the construction, engineering, and inspection services for for the ITS and Signal Improvement Phase 2 project and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. 10-4, a resolution approving the application for the Mount Juliet Police Department and to apply for a violent crimes intervention fund grant offered by the state of Tennessee. 10-5, a resolution approving attachment to the master agreement between the city of Mount Juliet, Tennessee and the Water Management Services LLC for the sewer system GIS mapping project and authorize the mayor to sign an agreement. 10-7, a resolution to approve the contract with GE Merritt Construction LLC for the construction of the restrooms at Hamilton Denson Park and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. 10-8, a resolution declaring the city of Mount Juliet Sewer Department property as surplus to be disposed of at Gov Deals auction. Is there a motion? And I have a motion and I heard a second on that. Any questions or comments on those 5 items? All in favor of those 5 items as read, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Those 5 items carry. We're back on to our regular agenda now. We'll pick up where we left off at 10-2, which is a resolution for the appointment of a city judge. Have a motion? Second, the item's on the table. And I was just going to ask if anybody who has a nomination.
Yes,
Commissioner Mullally.
I'd like to nominate Rhett Chandler. I believe he has the experience. He lives in Mount Juliet, and I believe he'll do a great job.
All right. Commissioner Justice.
I'd like to also nominate.
Oh, sorry, sir.
That's sir.
Go right ahead.
Good. Okay. Andy Wright. He has the experience. He has done the job. He's been on both sides of that bench as prosecutor or representing someone. He's also been on the bench and was our city judge for many, many years. So he definitely has the experience. And so I would appreciate your vote to put him back on that.
All right. A nomination and a plug. All right. We have, and I'll make a motion to cease nominations. Have a second on that. Any objection to cease nominations? All right, hearing none, nominations are closed. We have 2 candidates for consideration. We have Rhett Chandler and Mr. Andy Wright. Are y'all ready to vote? All right, all in favor of Rhett Chandler, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's 3, so receiving a majority of votes. Are we concluded? All right. Mr. Chandler, congratulations. All right. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 6-7, a resolution of the City of Mount Juliet Board of Commissioners to support revisions of the city's urban growth boundary. Is there a motion? Have a motion? Second. The item is on the table. Let's see. Commissioner Justice.
Mayor, I asked for this when we didn't get the other through. We had some varying ideas of what I think needed to happen. So there were some cleanup items that I did request. So they are on this map. I believe there's one.
You want to make a motion to adopt the map?
Well, do we need to? Yeah, I guess we need to and then make the changes, don't we? Okay, so yeah, I'd make a motion first that we adopt this version of the UGB.
I'll second. Any questions or comments on this? Just the adoption of the map?
Motion to amend.
All right. All in favor of the adoption of the map, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We're on the map. And you got a motion?
I do.
Sorry.
There was one section, I think if we'll, the one that we had on the computer is different than this one. Ms. Hamley might help me out here. We've got the one section in Hickory Hills. Where's it at? See, mine doesn't have that.
I think you might have to just flip the page.
I think this is F.
It's the small one. So here's a bigger.
Okay, I had the different various. There's sections over in the Hickory Hills area over there. There were several pieces that needed to be added. There was section in Berkshire Boulevard where they had requested, and then there's a section over here off of Lebanon Road that was being requested. There's one section that was left off and they asked if I would just add it here to the table as opposed to putting it on the map. And that was the section, part of the Cedar Creek Yacht Club is actually in the city boundary, the urban growth boundary, and part of it is not. There's also a boathouse there, which is the only commercial location that is out Bender's Ferry Road, and I was wanting to put that in. Just add it to this map.
So really, you're just wanting the rest of the Cedar Creek Yacht Club's the only change to option
Yes,
F?
yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that's the motion?
Yes, please.
All right. So we have a motion. Is there a second on adding the rest of the yacht club? Have a second here. All right. The motion was to amend option F, the map here, to include all of the Cedar Creek Yacht Club property. Is this-
Well, and that's including the boathouse. So actually, it's that peninsula, if you would, you juts out into the water right before you get this to Long Branch Recreation Area.
That right there in there, both sides?
Actually, I didn't even realize that wasn't in.
Is that part of that one growth that's?
No, this is across the lake. That's Cedar Creek Recreation Area you're looking at there. And I had asked that be added in, but not annexed. And we've been in contact with
That's
Corps of Engineers about annexing that as well, so that we'd have our emergency services access at that location. So, I mean, if you want to add that, I'm more than happy to, but I mean, it's for no other reason. That's where the RV park is over there, campground at Cedar Creek Recreation Area.
No, I was asking if that was the area that you were referring to when you were discussing it with them.
No, this part right here of the yacht club is in. This part is not.
Okay.
I'm asking you just to put the rest of it in.
Commissioner Mullally?
How much of that is the Corps of Engineer? Travis, can you put up that map?
Travis probably can't, but
Or whoever's back there. All right. So what's in yellow, so people know what we're talking about? What's in yellow is our current UGB. And so what is in the bottom section there? What exactly is in? Is it a clubhouse or what is it? A restaurant? The boathouse, is that a restaurant or what? Huh? So
Dry
there's
storage
dry
there for
storage
that.
in the yellow.
guess it's kind of best described as the, I guess the buildings there on the, going out in the water, that peninsula little juts out to the, if you look in the paper out to the left. Yeah. Let's recognize Commissioner Justice. If you're finished, are you finished, Commissioner Mullally?
Well, no, I had several questions, but I wanted that addressed.
Okay, well, let's see.
If you'll look, and I just realized something here, part of the boathouse section is actually in the yellow. Then the drive that goes down to the water is not. Okay. Then if you'll come back over here, you see what I'm talking about? At the very, where it says Bender's Ferry Road. All right. You'll see a block,
Do you
a
wanna-
box there.
Do you want to
That
walk
is
over to
in.
the map and point it out? Just
If I
so we're
may.
on the same page?
Sure. This section right here, that's the boathouse. I was mistaken on this. Right, it's
Okay.
already in UGB. This section right here is the launch ramp that goes into the water from the boathouse.
But you're including that land that's jutting out to the left of that point.
All of it, yeah, everything that comes down around there. There's just no reason not to have it in the urban growth boundary. I'm sorry?
It's all right. Let's get Commissioner Mullally the floor.
What exactly is a boathouse? Does it have anything other than boats? Or,
Yes, sir.
It is a dry storage for numerous boats. It's where people will take and they put it on a forklift and they raise the boat up and put it in the rafters, and they have stacks of boats in there, and they charge an amount per year for that rental space within the confines of that boathouse.
so the advantage of including that in our UGB is what?
It is commercial. So if we ever annex out there, we would get the sales tax off of that.
A boathouse is commercial?
Sure it would be.
Yes, they charge per
Well,
boat.
to store your boat.
Yeah, like we'll say, I'm just going to use it because I don't know their rates, but like it's $100 a month. And they've got 500 boats in there. Okay, so each one of those boats generates money that we get the sales tax off of, which comes back to the city of Mountain Juliet if it were to be annexed at any time in the future.
All right. And so what is to the left of that?
To the left of that is Cedar Creek Yacht Club. And there is a location there also, field docks and things of that nature. So if you're asking if that's commercial, yes, it is.
And
That is the only commercial piece that is out there.
And- is there a restaurant in there somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. Cedar Creek Yacht Club has a full-blown restaurant. They cater. They have parties there. It is a commercial entity.
All right. So the part in the yellow down there, if the boathouse is up northeast, so what is that white structure in the yellow area down there?
Again, it's additional storage.
Just storage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So part of this is the Corps of Engineers. Do we know exactly how much of it? Because you,
Pretty much everything involved in a marina is going to be the Corps of Engineers. But it doesn't make any difference because the Corps of Engineers defers to the state or the city of Mountain Juliet for its zoning, maintenance codes, things of that nature, if it's in our city limits. We've got the exact duplicate of this, which is on the other side, which is in my district, and that's the Cedar Creek Marina, where they got the restaurant. See, it's public. This is private. That's the difference between the two.
I think the question is, do you want to include this in the UGB or not?
I mean, there's no reason not to. If we've got half of it, no, why not the other half?
And I'm going to go to the map and just take my pointer here and make sure we're on the same page.
You're about the same height. You might want to stand on the box. Shut up. Yes.
Everybody. Everybody clear on the motion? Any questions or comments on it before we vote? All right, all in favor of including the additional piece for the yacht club into the UGB map, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That carries. With the inclusion on that for 4-1. Okay, so we're back on option F as once amended to include that. Any other questions or comments on this map before we vote? Commissioner Trevette?
Mayor, there was some discussion just less than 3 minutes ago about Saundersville on that same map that was up there. So that's also being on that peninsula as well. So
On the other side.
yeah, on the other side.
If you want to add that, I mean, I'm more than happy to. That is the.
I'm asking, I mean, was there any other discussion?
I mean, do you want
Well, I mean,
to make a motion to add that, or?
You want to put it to have to make a motion in a second.
yeah, I understand. No, I understand.
If you want to second.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
We're on the you don't have to make a motion yet because we're on the map. I mean,
Well,
you
we're
got a
discussing
question
it.
for
That's
the,
what I was mainly trying to figure out if I can discuss about it because we're discussing the map.
Sure.
So that's what I was hoping that Mr. Barlow or his staff can be able to let us know.
Yeah,
Because
we
again,
got
I'm
the
only
city
seeing partial of
money.
this. Is this on the only side? Is there an additional? Because I'm trying to look at the map if we can be able to get that back up there, but I'm trying to see what's additional. Because the map that we have, it's not really showing up here very well. And
let's get
it does go on around.
our planner on here.
It actually does go on around just a little bit, and I have my computer up if you wanted to come around and look at
That'd be
it. But
great,
if you
yeah.
wanted to include that in your motion, I would just know that it's the Cedar Creek campground. So it just goes on a little bit further.
There's no other property. I mean, we own all that, but we know we can manage all that, so.
The other property is Kevin Kisner, and he does not want to be annexed 64.
He doesn't want
Does not want to be annexed, the property you're talking about.
It's just the campground.
Okay, yeah, then never mind. Okay, then I'll leave it alone.
Well, actually, so we can talk about it.
Sure. Commissioner Justice?
I had talked to, it's in my district, obviously, that area is over there, and I talked to the city manager, and this has been a year ago, I think, maybe more, when we were talking about, and we had conversations with the Corps of Engineers about this particular piece of property. It is, once again, something we've talked about, land, the city between the lakes. And so I had talked to him about including that. I didn't realize it wasn't in our urban growth boundary. I didn't know that it was not in the city, although everything up to it, leading up to it, was in the city. We have an opportunity to annex this, which would allow our police officers and EMS to be able to go out to that location and serve those folks, give them a enhanced emergency services opportunity. Being a lake area, there's a sign out there that talks about the number of deaths out there. So that's all I was looking at. We're also, in the process right now, working with the marina to get them annexed as well. They are already in our urban growth boundary, but right now it's split. Half of the marina property is in the city and half of it is in the county. And so the last time we had an investigation out there, we had the county and the city trying to figure out, and they spent probably 2 hours trying to figure out whether it was in the county or the city and who was going to investigate the 2 dead bodies they had. So if it's in the urban growth boundary and it's ultimately annexed into the city, then obviously they not only have access to city services, the enhanced services, but they also do have the county services as well. So you have EMS and WEMA and Mountain Juliet Fire and Ambulance as well as police.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. When I look at this right here, I kind of go back to what we're trying to help out our citizens when it comes to safety. Obviously, every city has pockets, that tend to figure out the same challenges when it comes to trying to see who's going to take care of who. And I understand that the first responders, they all work together, when it comes down to it. Our Wilson County does work very well with our Mount Juliet team, so there is some good partnership there. However, I'm not a big fan of these pockets, especially when I'm looking at the map. It looks like they're all in the urban growth boundary or part of the city, except for this little space out here. So I am going to make a motion also to go ahead and annex the space over here. I'm sorry. My apologies. Oh, man. It's
newspaper. Stop.
Yes. That's the last thing we need. Newspaper, please do not do that. But I would, let's see, go ahead and make a motion to add the Saundersville Peninsula to the UGB.
City Creek Recreation.
Yes, sorry. City Creek, what is it called?
City Creek
Recreational area
And campground.
and campground. Well, how far does that go over? Is that-
Hang on, I'm pulling it up right now for you.
It's quite a ways. We can include just that peninsula that's not colored there right now.
Yeah, I would just say what I'm referring to on this map, because that's what I'm looking for, just on this map.
Well, it's a little bit more than that.
Does it go back over?
What I showed you
Yeah,
on.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Yes, ma'am.
I'm pulling it up right now.
So that's my motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it is seconded and on the table. Just trying to pull up the GIS map.
Thank you.
That section you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And what it does, it goes over here and runs this.
Have you got a suggestion on how to quantify that for a motion?
I would just, we all know here, and Rob especially in GIS, what the Cedar Creek recreational area boundaries are. And if you guys are okay with us identifying those on the map. we can circulate it back around just for confirmation.
Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't even have a parcel numbers or anything.
The core property, that's why it was originally left off. We did not ever include core property in our zoning or UGB.
Oh, that'd be
previously.
fun to describe. So the motion is to include in the urban growth boundary the Cedar Creek camping
And recreation.
and recreation. All right. Any other questions or comments on this before we vote? We get Commissioner Mullally here.
Just the
Commissioner Mullally?
campground, just the campground area or the whole northern tip? What is,
It's actually,
Commissioner Justice.
thank you. It's actually the beach area at Cedar Creek Recreation, the restroom area, the volleyball area, the fishing and launch area, the other restrooms, and then the camping area and the RV location.
does this include the marina?
No, the marina is already included.
Okay, so it's just the so it's not the whole green area, it's all the green area?
It's all the green area.
Okay, I see. Okay.
The campgrounds.
Yeah, they're including the little island. Oh, you're right. It's annexed where they pay taxes. They pay taxes to us. Okay, Mayor, I
Yes.
just had something brought to my attention here that's not showing up on our urban growth map. We annexed the recreation, we annexed the, what do you call it? The marina many, many years ago. But for whatever reason, it is not showing as, or is it showing an urban growth boundary? We don't have a map for that.
Is it back to the same issue with the parcel numbers missing?
Actually, whenever we annexed the core property in the lake to get the York Road property in for our firing range, we only annexed what was in the water. And since the parking lot there was not, it was never included.
Actually, the annexation brought half of the parking lot in because we took in the core property when we did that in 08.
Right. So the core property is what I'm showing you is that island. That's not core property. So
So
you might want to include that for consistency's sake. It'd probably be amazing for your local dispatchers to get that all shored up. I've been in that seat and I know what a nightmare this area is for a dispatcher and public safety.
So are you talking about the recreation area or are you talking about the marina itself too?
I'm just talking about the parking lot and I'm not familiar. I don't go over there that often, but I know you.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Half of the parking lot is in the marina, is in the city limits, and half of it is in the county. If that makes any sense. That's the reason we're trying to clean all this mess up. I'm sorry. Well, she's saying for consistency's sake, I think we need to add it to the UGB so that when we do go to annex it, we don't have an issue pop up here because they're asking for annexation on that part as well. In the future, they haven't come up to it yet.
So you're saying the Corps has requested that be
No,
annexed?
sir, no. We're on the actual marina property now. The marina part where they have the music, all the rest of that stuff, that is already in the city limits. Then the ship store, which is in the parking lot across from that, is actually in the county and not in the city.
But it's in the urban growth boundary.
Right now, it's not showing that it is. And that's what she's saying, to clean that up. It should be consistent and bring that in. That's what she just brought up to me because I didn't realize that either.
You're welcome to look at my computer. I have it. If y'all want to pass it around, you're welcome to.
Well, I mean, who made the motion originally?
I did.
You want to add that?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to go ahead.
All right, then there's agreement to include that from the person who made the motion and okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
These So- are the
pockets we're trying to clear out.
Correct. Yes, sir. Good catch, by the way, Jennifer.
Does our city recorder understand all that? Okay.
Or she will after the meeting's over. She's trying to figure it out.
All right.
I
So
got
we're
it.
back on the second amendment there on it.
And seconded.
Yes. Any other questions or comments on it? All right. All in favor of the Second Amendment to include the portions there in front of the marina and the Cedar Creek recreational camping area into the urban growth boundary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. That does carry though, so we're back on the map as 2 times amended. Any other questions or comments on option F? If not, I've got one. And that is the area down in the lower right-hand corner to add to the urban growth boundary. Want to ask our city planner any value there other than just residential?
What are we talking about?
He's talking about the Berkshire area. Here.
You're talking about Berkshire?
That was my question to the planner. Yes.
There would be residential opportunity there. I have spoke to the wastewater authority about this location, and he indicated, Mr. Luber, that we would not be able to build infrastructure out there because they already have rights to that. So you guys need to probably tread lightly on that, or maybe investigate that a little further. Mr. Barlow might be able to touch on that a little bit also in his meetings with that agency.
Yeah, I'd gotten correspondence from him stating the same thing, that they already had infrastructure in the ground, approved plans for all of that. And I know I guess, Mr. Barlow, you can probably speak to this the best. We've had run-ins already with this, with the infrastructure is not in the ground and run into problems. But now that we've got infrastructure in the ground, what would be our options for sewer, if any? I mean, maybe it's a Gino question as well.
Maybe Gino.
Yeah, they've got pipes and drip and slated to go to Logue Road.
We can still annex it if they've got pipes, et cetera, and so forth, then we have to compensate them.
Okay.
That would only take into account if you did offer sewer service. So, I think that's really if you can annex but not
Provide the sewer.
provide sewer.
And if I could add something to that.
Let me recognize Commissioner Justice.
That property over there, they have the front section over there is developed out. The back section has 84 lots that they were talking about that they wanted to add, and they wanted to put it on the step system that they've got over there, but they don't have any soils. And so the Water and Wastewater Authority, they don't have the ability. It's, kind of like the right to remain silent. I got it sometimes. Got the right, just not the ability. They got the right to it, but they don't have the ability. So that's the reason that they reached out to us. That is owned by the Kidd family. I helped them get that, not annexed, but developed and set up and everything through the county. I think it's like 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have any interest in it or anything like that, but they're wanting to do something since their daddy passed away. So they had requested it. There's also some of the HOA members had requested also that we look at getting them on sewer as opposed to it. And I told them that would leave that up to Gino Marchetti and Andy Barlow to fight that battle. It's not something I want to be involved in. So y'all make a decision. I honestly, if you could help them out, that's fine. I'd be voting for it. But if it's something that we don't need to be messing in, just say it, and we'll go a different direction on it.
Vice Mayor?
Mr. Barlow, do you have a cost of what that would cost the city? Oh, I mean, to run the sewer out there, or would that be back on the developer?
It would. Traditionally, the city has put the cost on the development. Traditionally, but put the cost on the development.
Okay.
Now there is sewer there that's across Beckwith Road, so we do have sewage facilities in the general vicinity. I mean, it's a ways, it'd be a haul. Now, I don't think.
What's a ways? Is it a mile?
No,
Oh, okay.
3,000 feet maybe, something like that. Yeah,
Half
I'd say
mile.
half a mile probably.
Okay.
Shane, do you recall if we looked at a price on that? I don't believe we did. Because it was just purely conceptual. And when they were outside the UGB, it's really kind of when that discussion ended.
And that land from the tap to the 3,000 feet, who owns that? Would that be the landowner or would that be another individual?
Yeah, that'd be HOA. Yeah. The other aspect of the cost would also be a cost that we would have to pay the wastewater authority since they do have those facilities in the ground. And Shane, do you recall? I was trying to remember. We had some discussions with the wastewater authority on that, but the cost was so exorbitant on the south side that I think it was $900 a lot. I think something like that. But then they wanted some other costs on top of that. Legitimate costs were what we determined about $900 a lot.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Justice? Yes, sir.
We don't run sewer, do we?
Not
We might
typically.
maintain it later on down the road, but we don't run sewer, and this should not be any different than that. Yeah, I just want to make sure City of Mount Juliet doesn't run sewer, and I would never advocate for us to run sewer, period. Somebody wants to put it in, so be it, but they have to pay for it.
Was that just a comment on sewer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, my second issue with this is if we start annexing out there, because we're going to wind up in a situation where we're going to wind up owning Beckwith Road as well, and the drum beats are going to start for the city doing some improvements there. I just don't know if there's any way to do any of the improvements out there without having to acquire right of way. That's going to be complicated as well going through it. We'll probably wind back up on Channel 2 again with another special report on taking right of way. So I'm just going to make a motion here to remove the pink area down here that says add to urban growth boundary on the bottom right-hand corner. That's second. Any questions or comments on that? All right. All in favor of the motion to remove the pink area?
I'm sorry, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can sewer be ran outside of our urban growth boundary?
Gino, do you know the answer to that? Ken? Okay.
Okay, and as a business model, didn't it work better if we actually provide sewer to somebody but not provide all the liabilities that go with it? In other words, we don't take care of the police, fire, all that, and the roads. All we do is run sewer out there. They become a customer. I get this kind of from the West Wilson Utility District model. They want customers. That's how they pay their bills. I would assume that was the same thing with our sewer. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think the idea of that is just as long as you have enough customers on that line to make it worth its
Correct.
while.
Okay. Yeah. Then obviously I don't care if it's in the city, in urban growth boundaries or not. Especially, I mean, if we can do that, when we can run sewer to them and not have to provide them with city services, I'd say that was a win-win for everybody. But I do want to point out that I want to do everything I can do to eradicate step systems inside the city limits in our urban growth boundary.
All right. Any other questions and comments on the amendment? All in favor of removing the pink in the bottom right-hand corner of the UGB map, option F, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That carries. We're back on option F as amended 3 times. Any other questions or comments on it? Are we ready to vote on a map? All right. All in favor of resolution 10-6 as 3 times amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That carries. We have, congratulations, we have an urban growth boundary map approved. We have a map approved. It's got to be accepted. So, yes. Proposed. Yeah, that's a better word. We have a map proposal to send to go through the approval process. All right, with that, unless I'm missing something, that concludes all of the business on our agenda. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion and second. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Shouldn't have bust that block.